going to very humbly share with you certain awareness points and action points. I'm going to be sharing with you 4 awareness points and 3 action points. And I think these points, let me try to clarify what the awareness points are. Some concepts. Concepts always provide us clarity. Concepts about how we need to approach our progress towards success, how we need to view things that happen around us while we are moving towards mastery. And that is going to give us more clarity, these awareness points. And always clarity breeds mastery. And action points, I'm going to share with you very quickly some daily rituals that we need to follow to bring out the internal gifts that we are born into. Okay? And I hope with this is going to be useful to you. Awareness points. Aspiration. I want to first start with, this is the first, aspiration. Is there anyone who doesn't aspire? I'm sure all the 250 members who are joining in today, every one of us has an aspiration in this world. We all aspire. But the problem is, do we act? Do we act adequately? Do we act appropriately and consistently? Because aspiration, ladies and gentlemen, is an internal energy. Our internal energy of this aspiration, if it is not supported with actions, they end up being frustrations or wishful thinkings. Okay, are you with me? You know, I want to just quickly get into some science, and I want to compare it. This is a school science, by the way. We all read about law of conservation of energy. Any quick answers? What is law of conservation energy? What does it say?
Energy cannot be created.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Mr. Chemical Engineer Rajesh. Okay. Energy
cannot be created nor destroyed.
Thanks, Madam Malika. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. They can only be transformed from one form to another. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. They can only be transformed from one form to another. Now, I want to quickly bring in analogy to aspiration. I told you our aspiration is an internal energy. It cannot be destroyed. It has to find its way. And there are 2 ways. One, it can become a positive energy. It can become a positive energy provided we support it with adequate actions, appropriate actions, and discover the genius in us, maybe become a musician, maybe become a sports star, become a wonderful engineer, become a toastmaster, become a public speaker. And the energy goes on, passes on, and maybe multiplies. And other way around, if we do not channelize and act on this internal energy, it doesn't die, it doesn't disappear, no. But it manifests itself into an evil, devilish form of negative energy. Maybe frustrations, depressions, anxieties, anger, and even jealousy. Now, we all get sometimes wonderful audience, my wonderful audience. Sometimes we get to see these people around us, people with negative energy, right? So let's be honest, we are having a candid discussion here. We see people with a lot of negative energy. I think we should not be upset with them. Rather, we should empathize with them. Probably they all had a strong aspiration, which is an internal energy, but they never channelized or found a form to it and made it constructive. And therefore, it manifests itself in many other forms of frustrations. So, aspiration, I support them with actions and make them as a positive energy. Not only that, we are all having great ideas. Every one of us has an idea. We want to become this. I get to see these people. I get to meet these people, a lot of them. I want to become a mountaineer. I want to become a pilot. But after a few years, when we get to meet them, they're still either becoming a pilot or something, or they've changed their aspirations. Okay? We all have ideas, but these ideas have to be converted to executions by working on them rigorously. Look at what this, again, the great gentleman, Robin Sharma, would do. Said, ideation without execution is delusion. We all have, I think it should be fairly clear to every one of you. Ideation without execution is delusion. And why does it happen? If you really look at our human mind, which is a powerful supercomputer, this supercomputer, when we want to put an idea and convert it into an action, this supercomputer generates one nasty process. Okay, that process is an auto-generated process, and that process produces a small output, and that output is called excuse. Whenever we want to work on an idea and become something, it generates an excuse. It procrastinates things. It wants you to push a thing. Okay, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it in the weekend. Okay, I worked hard. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to give you this rule from the academy. Our excuses are nothing but lies that our internal fears are trying to sell us. Just don't buy them. Just don't buy them. Move on. Ideas should be executed upon if you have to achieve your aspirations. Not only that, not just that, your aspiration is like a little baby inside you. You need to take responsibility and accountability for this baby every day, and you need to act on it every day. You need to nurture your baby. You have to feed your baby. You need to sometimes be firm with this baby. You need to discipline this baby. And that is how you connect with this in your inner core, in your deep inner core. You connect to your primal genius. You have to run your morning rituals, daily rituals right. And when you do that, when you remain sharp and focused, you become far more intentional. You become stronger, you become creative, and you become the best version of you every day when you enter this world. When the whole world is messy, filled with confusions in the mornings, imagine the mornings, and you are there like a laser beam with a monomaniacal focus. You will get closer to your aspirations. You will get closer to your mastery levels. But we see a lot of people around us, people who in our opinion have a lot of potential, but they have not reached the place that they ought to have reached. Do you see them? Some of our uncles, some of our friends, some of our colleagues, they don't really reach the levels of the potential that they should have reached. Why does it happen? There are a lot of people on this earth who have a huge well of self-loathing. There are a lot of people in this world who have a huge well of self-hatred, which is all suppressed, repressed, and subconscious. A lot of us have the self-loathing, but we don't either realize it or we don't acknowledge it. Why does it happen? Because people get hurt and they swallow it. People go heartbroken and they suppress it. And we face challenges at work and we are taught not to feel it. Imagine when we were all kids, we used to get hurt, right? We used to get hurt as kids. We used to cry. Then we laugh, then we move on. That's it. We went it out. But this society teaches us not to do it as we grow up. And all these victims, they become addicted to the distractions rather than discovering their primal genius every day. And why does it happen? Do you know why it happens? Because deep within them, they have this suppressed pain of their own potential betrayed. I'm using a lot of words here. Within every one of those underperforming individuals who have not reached their potential, they have the pain of their own potential betrayed, and they start becoming negative, pessimistic. The point here is, the earlier we recognize that, the earlier we acknowledge, and the earlier we change, it is better. More time we take, more complex form it does take. So, ladies and gentlemen, our aspiration. This is what Mr. Khalil Gibran said. I don't want to forget this. When you don't feel your tears, how are you going to fully feel your laughter? Amazing verse. When you can't cry your tears out, how are you going to fully feel your laughters? Our aspiration is an internal energy. Let us give it the right forms. Let us support it with actions and treat it like a baby. Okay, that is awareness point one. Number two is success. All of us, I think all of us in this world want to be successful. Who doesn't want to be successful? But the problem is sometimes our own perception of this success can get us into trouble. So I want to share with you certain new ways, personal mastery ways of viewing success. The great gentleman, Henry David Thoreau, this is what he said. If you advance confidently in the direction of your dream and endeavor to live a life that you always imagine, success, thy success, will meet with you unexpected in the common hours. So beautiful. I want you to go and read it again. What does it simply mean? Success is not something you can go and get in life. Success is an inner process. Success is something that we bring into every little thing that we do in our life. Success is not something that you get out of what you do. Success is something you bring into what you do. Once you get there, once you understand this, once you're clear about this, you will be able to get the junk out of you and move in the direction of your dreams that you always wanted to, and do things that make maximum sense to you. That is how you will face and experience and sustain success, with one caveat. That is, one caveat is that you do not interfere into the rights and privileges of anybody else. That is harmony and global cooperation. Success is so much of an inner process. And while we are in this path, this is another great mastery guru, Dr. Dwayne. While we are in our path to success, we encounter a lot of situations, a lot of people. And we need to develop an appearance thinking versus quality thinking. I repeat this. We need to develop a quality thinking and not an appearance thinking. Let me stand corrected. We need to develop quality thinking and not appearance thinking. Now, what is appearance thinking? Now, whenever we do something, everybody else is going to have an opinion. And if you're going to be upset about somebody's opinion about what we do, what are we saying? Indirectly, we are saying what we think, what somebody else thinks about us is more important than what we think about ourselves. Because we are seeking validations. We are seeking applause and approvals of others to do the best things that we possibly can do. That the potential, the gifts that we have, bringing out the gifts. I mean, we look for validations. Do not seek validations of others. Do not seek the approvals or the applause of others. Now, let me get one thing straight here. Okay, I like, as a processor, as a personal mastery practitioner, I like getting applause. I like getting likes, but I do not need them. And that makes a big difference. There's a difference between liking it or enjoying it and needing it. All the great men and women of this world, they never sought those applause and approvals. But paradoxically, they are the ones who got maximum approvals and applause. And those of us who went for applause and approvals were the ones who got it in the least one or failed. This is the process of self-actualization. The process of self-actualization, as per Maslow, expects you to stay independent of other people's good opinion about you. You do everything the way you intend to do, as long as your path is right, is because you believe that's the right thing to do. This is a very important thinking process, quality thinking, when you are in the path to success. Now, I want to quickly share a very quick snippet here. My wife, this is some stories about my wife. She's Advaita. I have my 2 children here, and Advaita has a great skill. She can find her way into your heart through our stomach. She's a great cook. She's so good in making this biryanis, lamb biryani, chicken, or even wonderful South Indian vegetarian snacks like idli, chutneys, palak paneers, buying in birthas, maybe I'm making you feel hungry here, but she's so wonderful, so amazing, whatever she touches. And some of you have had the honor of, we have had the honor of hosting some of you at our home. I'm sure you will agree. And one day I asked Advaita, being my businessman mentality, I asked her, in the future, probably we need to convert this into a business opportunity. We need to think of a restaurant or something. I thought it was an intelligent idea. But you know what she said? She called it as a stupid idea and rejected it on my face. And she said this, Peri, I do everything for the family because I love doing it for you guys. And I'm putting my heart out. And making it as a commercial opportunity. And would I be stupid to allow somebody to criticize on how I do things? Success is an inner process. Our mother's love did not seek validations from anybody else. If we believe in these principles and keep those inner flames, the inner candles in us glowing, we will get to see that success will fall on us. Some success will chase us in amounts that we never imagined. There is success in the way we serve the food to our guests. There is success in the way you are going to change the diaper for your wonderful baby. There is success when you're throwing a surprise birthday party for your children. As long as you believe success is an inner process and don't seek validations. Third one is knowledge. I know knowledge is essential. All of us know knowledge is essential and important. But here I'm going to share a new way of thinking about knowledge. As we move along in our path to success, sometimes we don't like what this world throws at us. We get hurt. But instead of blaming this world, we need to probably take responsibility for that and start thinking, what did we do? What did we put out into this world for the world to throw back that at us? And here I want to share the new way of thinking about knowledge. Instead of living all your life after achievements, badges, and merit certificates and all kinds of externals, let's try living a life on knowledge for the sake of knowledge. That's a big difference. This is a context that we need to be devoid of all the achievements, and where we want to collect a lot of merit badges. But knowledge for the sake of knowledge. We all attended schools, colleges, and various other learning forums because it made a lot of sense to us. Not because somebody was putting something on the transcript by judging us or evaluating us or putting us somewhere in the class list, but knowledge for the sake of knowledge. We need to educate our children. We need to make our children more aware and understand the importance of knowledge for the sake of knowledge. Today's world, the society that we live in, pushes us into a competitive environment always, and always keeps judging us in terms of our achievements one way. And therefore, we get this wrong notions or a misconceived notion that knowledge for the sake of competition. I'm suggesting a process. Dr. Dwayne is suggesting the philosophy of knowledge, not for the sake of competition or achievement, knowledge for the sake of improvement. If you can think, and striving mentality. Not developing a striving mentality, but having a fulfillment mentality. I think the picture and the video should speak to us a lot. Striving is the opposite of fulfillment. Striving is constantly going to keep pushing us towards more goals, more achievements, better records, more wealth, more cars, more houses, more marriages, who knows. But, at the end of striving, you are going to have victories. But what are the point of victories if they are going to be empty victories? A victory without soulfulness will be an empty victory. Let us go for fulfillment approach rather than striving approach. It is so, if you really look at this universe, This is a perfectly peaceful place. But we make it more stressful with our thinking. Let us try to develop a fulfillment mentality. I mean, when we are going into the knowledge path, we care more about ethics rather than rules. We value our own internal ethics gained out of the knowledge that we have, and not be compliant, not be always worried about being compliant with the rules. Because a rule can also be a wrong rule. You know, once Mr. Abraham Lincoln, the person on this picture, there was once this reporter who asked him, Mr. President, what is your governance policy? And you know what he said? I don't have a governance policy. I do everything that makes sense for me, my people, and what is fair, ethical, and that which meets the equality rights of my people. I don't have a policy. Ethics, not rules, which is knowledge for the sake of knowledge. Let us enjoy the process of knowledge acquisition. Let us enjoy the process of knowledge practice. Let us enjoy the process of knowledge sharing. That is personal mastery. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge. And what we put out into this world comes back. And when you are in this mode, try to put knowledge and love into this world. We can be sure that at least one of them will come back. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge. The final awareness point is being mindful about our minds. This point could be a little philosophical, but I thought it is very, very important. And I'm trying to present it a little simply here. Motivation or inspiration is Mr. Eckhart Tolle, the author of the famous Power of Now. You know, this is very important to understand, because the ill effects of this can manifest into our daily life and affect our focus, our performance, our attention, and our mastery. So we are going to talk about it a little bit, very quickly. Human mind is so powerful, so powerful. We all know about it. But it can also be very dangerous. The endless thinking process of our mind can drag us into its direction, take us through the main channels, take us through the tributaries of thoughts, and it can throw us somewhere. In my opinion, in the greatest barriers to the progress of today's generation is too much thinking inside their mind, driven by so many digressions, of course. An interesting fact for you, an average human mind on an average day gets driven by 25,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot. And what does it means? It means, I was doing a quick math, it's about 25 thoughts in a minute to 45 thoughts in a minute. I mean, we will go mad. And most notably, 80% of them are either negative thoughts or useless thoughts. And about 90 to 95% of them are repetitive thoughts. If you really look at it, we are really caught up in the traffic jam of our minds. How are we going to bring out everything that we have to bring out very clearly, very confidently, in a very sharp fashion? And we have a limited time in this world. We have very limited time in this world. And how are we going to do everything that we need to do? Because if we are going to be constantly bothered with this mind and this thought flow, it is very, very important. This is where I'm saying, being mindful about your mind. We have to develop the ability and the capability. Please listen to me carefully. We have to develop the capability to stay away from our thoughts and watch them carefully, but not identify ourselves with the mind. This is much easier said than done, but requires. There are a lot of ways that you can do it. Be in a state of being and realize the I am. Just realize the I am, and not I am this or I am that, and I want to impress, I want to deliver. No. Just realize the I am. Just realize being in the current. Just Realize being in the now. There are a lot of practicing techniques available for this. It's not undoable. Not just meditation, there are so many other forms. But it is very important to be mindful about your mind. Have you seen the people in our work or anywhere, in schools, everywhere? When you ask a question, he is already preparing, he or she is already preparing the answer in his mind. That is because I don't blame him or her, because it is the mind that is putting it chaotic. When we start doing this, our listening power improves, our learning power improves. We get to understand what is right and what is the priority. It pushes us away from negative directions, it pushes us into positive directions. It's very, very important to stay away from the thoughts of your mind. When we get to see a lot of people, sometimes we see a mad person. I'm sorry to say this, a man who really, a physically mad person. Why we call them mad? Because they start speaking things, that they utter things, something they cannot decipher, we cannot decipher. We take them to a psychiatrist, right? There are a lot of us who need psychiatrist help. Only thing, we don't speak the tongue, but we are being governed by our mind. We need to really stay away from mind. And once we do that, our cognitive bandwidth improves, our ability to absorb improves. So very important. Another clarification on this important point of staying away from being identified by your mind. Yes, it can be a mental disease. If you do not control this, disease happens when there is no balance. Let me give you an example. If the cells in our body, our bodily cells, should get multiplied as we grow, but when they start multiplying uncontrollably, they go into all parts of our body and up and spread across the organs, could kill us, right? They could kill us. Same analogy for our thoughts. If we don't control our thoughts and manage our thoughts and stay away from our thoughts, that can kill us mentally. Once you do that, you will attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is not a big word. Enlightenment is being in a state of feeling the wholeness of us. Mr. Buddha said, the great Buddha said, enlightenment is the end of suffering. And many of us correlate that suffering to some physical pain. No, the suffering that he talked about was the suffering of an incessant thinking mind. So therefore, I'm going to give you this new definition of enlightenment, again, courtesy Eckhart Tolle. Enlightenment, please register this, ladies and gentlemen. Enlightenment is the end of dreadful enslavement from your incessant thinking. Enlightenment is the end of dreadful enslavement from incessant thinking. Stay away from your mind. So then you will see the power. Then you will see your performance potential. Then you will see your creativity and productivity potential. So I'm wrapping up on the awareness points that we looked at. Aspiration. Your aspiration is an internal energy and your internal baby. Success is an inner process. And don't forget quality thinking, not appearance thinking. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge. Knowledge not for the sake of competition or achievement. Being mindful about your mind. Stay enlightened. Try to be in a state of being.